Rayner, Nicky Dolan. Nicky Dolan was noted as someone in the chat earlier. That's going to be one of the favourites. Robbie Petchy, Romario Ellis, Theo Rafter, and William Atkinson. Nobody slower than a 32. Little trio of karts just crossed the line there. Nicky Dolan, Kai Ferner, and William Atkinson. They're going to get in each other's way. I'm just keeping an eye on them around the circuit. You could get a nice slipstream, or you could be held up in a braking zone. So down to a 31.365 from Mitch Rayner, top of the times now. Fastest sector 1. But the fastest sector 1 now goes back to Arthur Langley, so 20.022. Theo Rafter to the top of the times with a 31.267. Is that the quickest time we've seen? That's the place. It is all of the times merged together and the top three. So 31.226 from Arthur Langley, and he takes the fastest. That count. And it's just the fastest lap they do in each of those sessions that counts at the end of the night. Second gap between the entire top 10. Sam Shaw can see his weighted seat going around without him in it. So someone's borrowed Sam Shaw's weighted seat. Whether or not they've asked for permission, I don't know. So let us know, what do you think, guys? It's a good addition to the BRKC program. We had our first driver announcement, our reveal of the drivers who now under 1 second between all of the drivers out there. And the checkered flag's going to be coming out shortly. So Mitch Rayner, top of the times with a 31.209. Fastest first sector on this next lap as well. They're on their final lap now. 31.166. So fastest time of the night so far goes to Mitch Rayner. Followed around half a tenth back by Arthur Langley. A further few hundredths to Theo Rafter. Okay, so Sam Shaw saying it was Romario Ellis that was borrowing his seat for the night. Very kind of you, Sam. So we've got the fastest average laps showing on the screen now. Although I think we can't quite see the top of those. So we're back underway. That was enough of a break for me to have half a slice of pizza. The drivers have just completed their out lap, so we're obviously in the 32s and 33s. We're about to see what these guys can do on their first proper flying lap. To answer a question I saw slightly earlier about female drivers here, we've also got a first run. Robbie Petchy currently. Lots of green sectors coming in. Second is Robbie Petchy, just moved up the board there, but Arthur Langley's miles in front at the moment. Come from that top driver in this session at the moment, Arthur Langley. So sector 2 there from Arthur, but a weaker sector 1. He was a couple of tenths down in the first sector. Didn't catch what actually happened to him there. Try and have a look out the window. Only goes second, courtesy of having set the lap moments after Arthur. So the top two on identical lap times now. That's how tight it is in this first sector. Considerably faster than I've seen so far tonight. It's just gone to Theo Rafter again. So it might be about to expect any wonders on this lap or the next one. 42nd lap you can see there from Arthur on that previous lap. Shows you how much he slowed. Nicky Dolan there, still just a couple of tenths away. That's how we decide who gets the top the 3 spots for BRKC 2026. Still no improvements from the top 2 on this lap. Lots of yellow, so worse sectors than their best. Only driver improving on a sector on that last lap was Romario Ellis down in 9th. Drivers winding up. Here we go. So fastest sector 2 on that last lap. Theo's done a very good first sector. It's purely all of their lap times, their best lap from each session added together and averaged. So makes absolutely no difference that they've got anything. If it was a race or a qualifying session, I should say, 39-second lap, that's going to be harming his momentum. Really is important to build up speed. I can see some barriers. Quite. Current lap record is a high 29, but that's without lead added. That's without weight. Remember, all these drivers tonight are at 90 kilograms. Everyone's at the same weight tonight, closer to 50 kilograms, 60 kilograms. So don't expect lap record times tonight, but these are BRKC weighted times. Also, pretty cold here tonight. You tend to see the fastest times on a warm summer's day. Close now, just a couple of hundredths away. But it's the 4th fastest time. So fastest first sector, about a 10th or so away in the 2nd sector. Very, very small inaccuracy. Could have been traffic. Top 2 are looking clear though. They're on the last lap now. There's a couple of tenths in the last sector. But yeah, raised arm there from Arthur, who's a bit frustrated, but he's top of the times anyway in this session. Yeah, definitely though, potential. So interestingly, you're going to see these same drivers again shortly. The top 4 carts all did a 30.0, I believe. So a couple of tenths away still as the carts come back up to temperature. Drivers get used to their new carts. Every cart's going to handle very slightly differently. Going to have its own characteristics. So although in the fleet, getting on with this kart slightly better than the last one. It's still anyone's to play for tonight. We've got plenty of sessions to go, plenty of fast, good system of equalising the karts. And at the end of the fleet test this evening, the fastest. So those are some of the things we've tried to do to keep this fair. We've also tried to order the groups to avoid any group having an advantage or a disadvantage from running later. Should be fair for everyone. So there we go. Those are some of the things we've tried to do to keep this fair. And Sam Slater's noticed we're trying to introduce a leaderboard there, just so you can see who the fastest drivers over the evening have been. I'm going to go through, so the 3 drivers with the lowest average lap time over the night that are going to go through. Nicky Dolan, a few laps. Arthur Langley moves up a position, demotes Nicky Dolan. He's also into the 31.2, just 100, very close in this session. They're in different karts this time, but they're still pretty much inseparable. All the drivers on the grid this time in the 31s. So 8 tenths of a second separating the entire grid this time. Theo Rafter goes to the top of the board there. He found himself some space on that last lap and then pumped in a really quick one. Although there is still some margin. So he's gone to the top despite having not done his best sectors of the session. Arthur Langley is on his own best sector of the session. He's just done his fastest first one. Closing in on the line right now. Crosses the line. It's the first 30-second lap of the night. 30.973 for Theo Rafter. Positions. So still just under 1 second separating all of the drivers in this session. In the first sector, this is looking ominous. I think he's got clear space in front of him. Is he going to lower the bar further? No. Second sector not as good, but a very fast 19.77. Time is counting down to 0 right now, so it's the end of this lap plus 1 more for all these drivers. Arthur Langley also improves to a 31.054. But we have got, and the first group of drivers to have set 2 times tonight have now finished their second run, and that means they're halfway through their evening of timed sessions. They've got 2 more to go. Everything still to play for. Nobody's guaranteed anything just yet. Let's see what these guys can do. Who are our favourites from this group? Looking at that board, I remember Nicky. Can anybody 31.148? They've got about 0.4 of a second to find before we're down to the really fast times. Let's see as this session evolves. 19.730. Arthur's nearly 0.3 of a second in front of second. Builder's confidence in the car. He's done another fastest sector one. One of the fastest sector ones we've seen all night, 19.70. Well, he does have a little bit of traffic. Has it held him up? No. Certainly not enough to make it a particularly slow lap. It's a 30.871, although a second sector very close, 0.4 of a second in front of Arthur Langley. Purple sector is only 11.1 to tumble over the next 6.5 minutes. This is going to get a lot quicker. I think a couple of these drivers at least are going to be in the 30.7s. Focus on Robbie Petchy up to third, 30.9. So we've got several drivers now under the 31 second bracket. First sector for Arthur Langley. I'm seeing if he's got any overall lap time though. Nicky Dolan up to fourth. Strong time, 30.9 Rayner, so now just 0.5 away from the top spot. Thereafter and Arthur Langley both in our top 6 before this session. For Langley, it was a 19.6. That's really, really fast. His second set, 200th separates the top 3. Fastest theoretical lap in this session is a 30.74, and that's split between Nicky Dolan and Arthur Langley's 2 best sectors. They've still got a minute and a half to go. There's more improvements potentially to come. Nicky Dolan's on a good first sector, doesn't follow it up with a good second sector though. 0.5 second off in the second sector. 7.27. So now the top 5 are separated by just over 1/10 of a second. So Mitch Rayner, the driver on the move here. Arthur Langley very consistently in the 30.80s, but just not quick enough to move forward. In this session, it's 0.8 of a second between the top 10 drivers. And in this session, it was so fast and so close. If you were just over 1/10 of a second off, you were down in the bottom 5. So that's how fast you had to be in this one. Looking forward to seeing how that affects the average scores. It's going to be a bit of a change there, I think. We're going to see a couple of drivers move forward. We'll bring you those as soon as we have them. We're about to see these same drivers get back in. They're just going to go and weigh up, check the weights on the scales, reselect their cart, and then they'll get back in a different cart, and off they go for their final run. So that's courtesy of a 31.055, a 31.054. Wow, that's close, isn't it? Here we go then. Same group again, going out for their final run. When this run's finished, there's nothing more these drivers can do. A couple of them pulling over to the side. Now, I think in BRKC official event terms, it's I don't think that's allowed, but probably not running quite to the same strictness of that waiting rule in this session. It's back at home, a little bit of an impromptu live stream. It's been very exciting looking at these scoreboards. Drivers putting on a great performance for us. Here we go then. Next time around, you're going to see the first representative times. Is it going to be our same top 3 or 4 drivers and very close together? That one is definitely a decent kart. So I think he's going to be happy that that's the one he's drawn. Here we go. They all just need some clear air. There's a little bit of group. Air temperature in the building hasn't changed. We're at, I think, 7.9. That's where we've been for a little bit. 0.912, but it's Mitch Rayner on a 30.877 at the top of the scoreboard. There is a comfortable amount of improvement, though, in the second sector for these drivers. So as they take more and more risk braking later and later into the corner we're seeing right now, that curved hairpin at the end of the main straight, really interesting corner that. It's a hairpin, but the braking zone is very much curved. You can see it there again from a different angle. Look how late on that apex is. So you've really got to get the kart rotated quite a long way around, but not over-rotated. You don't want to lose any momentum on the exit. So that's where they tend to gain time, I think, in that second sector. as the session goes on. They brake later and later and later. They trust the tyre temperature more and more. Arthur and Theo, who really need to get these good times to try and cement themselves in the top 3. Theo has done a 19.60, moves himself to the top with a really good second sector as well. So 30.728. There we go. That's what we're talking about. Those are the kind of times they need to be doing. Half the session to go, and I think Theo can probably improve on that as well. It's not happening just yet. I'm scanning the sector time. 31.259. Bit of Arthur Langley. There we go. Improves. But then Mitch Rayner improves again. Mitch moves himself up to second. 30.767. Arthur has improved though. 700ths between the top 3. They need to just pull something out of the bag in this session. Essentially, whichever one of these drivers finishes significantly in front of the others is going to take one of these spots unless they get dropped down by drive. 30.618. Is that our fastest time of the night? I think Theo Rafter may well have just set off up that strong first sector with a strong second one. He was a couple of tenths of a second off. Separating them at the beginning of this session. Okay, Arthur Langley. Still 2 more groups to go. 2 more groups who are going to benefit from potentially, courtesy of this. He is going to improve his average. Oh, he's done a very good first sector. 19.571. Changing before our eyes. Has he just rescued his night? Second sector, still not stunning. 11.13, I should say. So there's potential in that second sector for Arthur to go even quicker. It's another very strong lap for Theo Rafter on that last one. 30.637. Theo Rafter is comfortable at the top here. They are now at the top of the averages, but we've got 2 more groups now.